My name is Margaret N. Windsor, and I was kidnapped in 41 and brought to Moulton, Alabama. Given the name of a twin, this is a family where they dropped me off near Cortland Air Base that had just been built, so I assume since this was so country and out in the, like the Beverly Hillbillies, only not in Beverly Hills. Anyway, this is Lina Dempsey, the woman where she killed her twins, Peggy and Carl Dempsey. They were born out of wedlock. I'm just going to show Carl's. I'm going to show you where the discrepancies are in all of this that could have been proven, and nothing has. January the 7th is the birth date I grew up using all my life, since I was kidnapped at age 2, given the name of the twin Peggy. So later, a few years back, when I got the birth certificates, it didn't fit the birth they gave me because the twins were born sometime a year earlier. I'm not sure. But you can tell, so I'm told, by the driver's license, Virginia state driver's license, the date that they covered up. That's illegal, by the way. The state of Alabama, Montgomery, covered it up and inserted that one. So, well, they even misspelled the doctor's name on one of the documents. So there you go. Anyway, this is the family that covered it up, and this is a glossed over picture. They didn't have cars or just a little bit of the shack, if you call it a shack, but it's how they treated me also. All right, now then, this is me growing up. This is me some years ago, obviously, with my sons Mark and Scott. And I wrote about mind control murders back 76 till April Fool Day of 80, and had antifreeze put in me and should have died. I was illegally transported by this woman who was not my mother. I was forced in a car by an ex-husband, and Philip, he's ATF. I grew up thinking he was a half-brother. I realize now that he wasn't born in this family either. He was brought there about 4.5 years after I was. So he just retired from the ATF a few years ago. But I'm not going to blame Philip. Philip that I grew up with was a good kid, and I loved him very much. So I'm going to leave it at that. But he helped toss me in the car after the antifreeze and all this had been done to me. And this woman, the ex-husband, and all the time I was begging for my kids in my apartment, and I'd gone to, they'd put antifreeze in me, and I'd gone to the hospital on Paces Ferry Road to get I guess I started the autopsy because that's what they almost made out of me. I was a walking dead person, and that's what I was told. You ought to try antifreeze sometimes if you think that's not a living hell. So the people that got involved in it, how do I say it? I put it on so many videos in Facebook. My Facebook's been hacked. But I want to say I did not know about my kidnapping and my real name until 1983 after I'd been flown out to Larry Flint's. And he had been shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, while I was doing the book, March the 6th of 78. And he even says here that I knew who was responsible for his shooting. Well, I was talking about programming and mind control, where the agencies and now then corporations can do it. It's so easy. Can modify your behavior, your decision making. You think it's yours. They can do mass armies. Even jury, people on the panel for jury, their decision can be made by being placed under mind control. And how would they know it? It's invisible. That's the thing about this. The agency who's committed these have deliberately put them in a pattern so that they can be proven. Next door to me at Virginia Tech, the shootings, first of all, and then I'm just going to go on to what I really was going to say on this one. I've put this up. But Virginia Tech shootings, the mass shootings, 33 were done in patterns. And it was a young fellow student from South Korea who shot them, was programmed to. He's a victim himself. And as so many of the others are programmed to shoot themselves and kill themselves, and all this, he did. And that was April the 16th of '07. This man, Fort Hood shooter, was a psychiatrist, finished college at Virginia Tech, and he was born here in Roanoke, Benton. But these are all more patterns to that. You don't just hook it on to that and say they did it. Now then, I want to find out about my kidnapping after I was out at Flint's. His limo driver worked for British intelligence, and that's when I started finding out, and the British told me. And I found out that my mother was married to my father, King Edward VIII. It was a total lie that he was married to. It was orchestrated by the Freemasons and New World Order. Part of my own family, but a double married Wallace Simpson, a 99 or 100-year seal put on my father's illegal forced takedown, and my birth. I'm Victoria II, heir to the British Crown. Now, I never knew this back prior to '83 is what I want to remind you, if I can get this on a tape. My father was married, I don't know if I said this or not, to American Irish Claudia Ruth O'Keefe from Madison, Wisconsin, sister to artist George O'Keefe. This is my father, this is my grandfather, and I have to wonder how he died, you know, with so many murders and everything going on. Now then, I think I said this is where they brought me, and this is me here, and the birth certificate of Carl, and this is one of the mind control murders too. This is Gabby Gifford, her husband's Mark Kelly, a twin to Scott Kelly, and astronauts, and of course all this started in Huntsville, the Space Center. And with my kidnapping, my sons are Mark and Scott, heirs after me. I have no idea where they are. They have been so maligned and misdone in this too, framed just like my father was. Now then, how do you think Huntsville, Alabama, and the scientists and all this that came in there was in part of my kidnapping to keep me alive? Okay, the antifreeze was put in me, and I'm going to get to that in a second, because I want this, I'm putting a woman's name on here I had never met in my life. I didn't know she existed till later. But I want to get back to this real quick. This is the lies, the 99-year seal put on my dad's forced abdication. Total lies. He wasn't married to Wallace Simpson ever. He was married to my mom. So it's all kinds of lies in it that a friend of mine got this from a paper clipping of some of the lies that were made, and they made out this woman. First of all, my uncle, George the illegal six, Elizabeth's father, they're all illegal. He was the one that helped orchestrate with the New World Order, the Kennedys. Joe Kennedy was ambassador, and his sons flew in all the time. And this tape's going to go out, and I didn't give all the history on this. I can't get it on. So, anyway, this is Roosevelt, and the Kennedys helped. And I assume they probably flew me in to Cortland Air Base when they kidnapped me. And what they did to me is what would stun. I'm sure the world wouldn't like the two-face of that's been presented. They come as friends when they're your enemy, and that's how the United States went to Great Britain, and used it, illegal treaties that were signed by my uncle, illegal. So I want to say this real quick. There was an addendum to my father's forced abdication, and in it, and it's all legal, that I'm heir to the British Crown, because he was going to come back when he could try to get it all sorted out. They were stacked against him, the Jews, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Kennedy, my uncle, my father's brother. There was an addendum to my divorce to John Guy Childers, and this would have been in '74, I believe it was completed in October. And there was an addendum attached to it. So you get through the threads woven through my life that attach me to my being my father, King Edward VIII, and this is going to go off, and I wanted to get this because the woman, Twila,